Welcome to the Big Blue Knockout Podcast, where it's all Giants all day. This is Stas bringing you your Week 4 recap. Dallas at New York, with the final score being Dallas 20, New York 15. And this has to be the most frustrating game that I've watched in a very long time. The Giants were the better team on the field all day. We held the ball. Time of possession, 35-37 over 24-23 for the Cowboys. Total offensive yards, we had 303 to their 293. Passing yards, we had 277 to their 213. Rushing yards, this is where they were better, 80 yards to our 26. First downs, we had 16 to their 14. Penalties, we played a cleaner game, 4 penalties to their 11. Turnovers, we had the 1 turnover on the Hail Mary at the very end. Sacks, we gave up 1 sack. We had 1 sack, they gave up 1 sack. And total plays, 65 plays to 51. First, I want to talk about the defense. What the flying fuck were you doing today, Bowen? I don't understand this at all. You gave no pressure to an offensive line that's been suffering for the first 3 weeks, and you played this stupid shell, giving up the middle of the field, letting Dak Prescott sit there with time. You have to pressure Dak. Dak is not a soft quarterback. He is a very strong quarterback. If you let him sit there long enough, he's going to find an open man. He's going to extend drives. The longer you let him sit there, the more opportunity you give playmakers like CeeDee Lamb of getting open. And getting open, he did. CeeDee Lamb was 7 receptions off 8 targets for 98 yards and a touchdown with a 55-yard play that was in there. Why? Because we're not putting pressure on Dak Prescott. Every team that beat them this year so far had pressure on Dak and didn't let CeeDee Lamb go off and negated their running game that way. Instead, we barely send any pressure. We have Tyler Guyton getting worked by Kayvon Thibodeau, holding over and over and over. And instead of us calling a blitz to that side to pressure it, we just kept it status quo. I don't understand it. You gave them way too much respect. At some point in time, the New York Giants got to decide on defense who they're going to be. Are you going to be this soft shell that gives up the middle of the field and lets drives extend? Or are you going to punch quarterbacks in the mouth every game regardless? I'm not saying you got to have an 80% pressure rate, but can you give me a 26% blitz, a 30% blitz? I think that's fair. 30% blitz rate over 70% playing coverage. I think that is fair. You gave them way too much time. Let's go over to the offense. If you were to ask me, the first thing that I should not do against the Dallas Cowboys, even with their defense reeling, I would tell you, do not try to run the ball to the outsides. No misdirection, no jet sweeps, none of that. Go up the middle on them or don't do anything. Either you run up the middle or you don't do anything. If you want to play the sides of the field, then you use screens. Their linebackers are fast. Overshown, Micah Parsons, these are very fast linebackers. They will sniff these jet sweeps out, and they did. Every time we ran something to the side, it either got called back because of a hold, because guess what? They sniffed it out and we had to fucking hold to get the play off, or they blew it up in the backfield. We'd pick up 5 yards on first down from a pass, and then we'd lose 5 yards on the second down with a stupid jet sweep. I don't understand what happened with the play calling. The other part is, what's up with the red zone play calling? Why? Why on 3rd and 3 you're going sideways? You need to push the ball forward. Now, there were some passes that Daniel Jones missed. Absolutely. He missed a couple of deep shots that were overthrown. One that was thrown to the inside versus the outside. But don't give me some shit that this was his fault. The entire weight of the offense was based on his arm today. He was 29 for 40, 281 yards, averaged 9.7 yards per completion. And guess what? The longest reception play was 39 yards. So there wasn't a ton of yak. That 30-yard play, there was no yak on that play. We barely had any yak. So I don't want to hear shit. Everyone's going to try their best to hang it on Daniel Jones, and God knows there are things that he needs to do better. But today's game, they're not in this game for not Daniel Jones playing the level of quarterback that he played. You need help from your friends. If a ball's a little underthrown, which the pass to the outside to Slayton was underthrown. But guess what? If you slow it down, he slides under the ball, and the ball hits him in the gut. Corral the ball and help your quarterback out. I don't get this. Now, look, Malik Neighbors is a dynamic star, and I absolutely agree with game planning for him. And to be fair, the targets between him and Rondell Robinson were pretty well spread out. Neighbors was 12 for 15, 115 yards. Rondell Robinson was 11 for 14 for 71 yards. So between those two, they really did spread the ball out. The targets dropped significantly when you get to Darius Slayton. He was 3 for 5 for 56 yards, but he ran more of the deeper stuff, the comeback routes and such. You have to score touchdowns. The name of the game is touchdowns. We punted twice all game. We didn't have our first punt until the third quarter. And it was our second possession in the third quarter that we had our first punt. So we're moving the ball. Score in the red zone. We got to be more creative in the red zone. Everyone wants the deeper pass, and that's all well and good. But bottom line, the Giants are not struggling to get in the red zone. But the play calling today in the red zone was atrocious. And I'm going to tell you something. You could be the most dynamic guy, but you're not above criticism. That pass, here's a good play in the red zone. They ran a decoy play with Malik Neighbors, where Rondell Robinson leaked out to the weak side, and Malik Neighbors ran up, and his job was to clear the linebackers. He did not. He stopped and turned around thinking that Rondell was going to be able to walk into the touchdown. Why? Because guess what? These linebackers are fast. And what he needed to do was clear the linebackers, because that one touchdown, we're winning the game. Dallas Cowboys had no business winning today's game. And it's frustrating for me as a Giants fan, because we should have won this game. Our line protected pretty well. Daniel Jones was pretty clean. You could see that by the way he was able to deliver the ball today. But if you're not calling the right plays at the right time, you're not going to win games. Now the Giants got a long 10 days to recover, and good, because Malik Neighbors needs to get through concussion protocol. Now he has 10 days to do that. This game should have sparked a win in us. This should have leveled us out to 2-2 so that we got some momentum. But again, you let the Cowboys come to your house and beat you on some BS. They were not the better team. They did not put out the better stats. What they were better at was just getting in the end zone. Our offense was just as effective moving the ball. But when it came to the red zone, we called bad plays. We can talk about this officiating all you want, but there was some bogus ass shit going on, especially early in the game, where, when you see that Daniel Bellinger get in the face mask, but then they call the face mask against him, which stalls a nice opening drive that could have ended up in the end zone. With that penalty, we would have been inside, I believe it would have been inside the 7. Then they pick up a flag on an obvious hold call that gave them a touchdown. That touchdown is the difference of the game. I say this all the time, and I'm not one to dive off conspiracy theory diving boards like everyone else does. But officiating is so funky that if I was one of these NFL players, I would definitely invest a few $100,000 of my dollars and hire a private investigator to go ahead and investigate every single officiating crew. Because this shit is for the birds. Giants, this is what you got to do, man. You better lick your wounds. Because you should be 2-2. Scratch that. You should be 3-1 right now. 3-1. And you've beat yourself on your own mistakes, bad play calling at the bad time. Daves, I believe in you, man, and I'm a defender of you. You need to get it together, man, because when you get into the red zones, when you got to get aggressive. In the red zone, if people want to make the argument of, well, Daniel Jones can't throw the deep ball, guess what? In the red zone, it's 20 yards. There's no deep ball there. You should be able to execute in that red zone. We've seen Daniel Jones execute in the red zone. We have to call better plays. It can't be all about Malik Neighbors. It can't be. I get he's dynamic. I get that he's special. He absolutely is. And he should always be wide receiver 1. And we should absolutely be planning packages for him every week. But you got to get your other guys involved. You got to make smarter plays in the red zone. Giants fans, that's the tale of the tape. The Giants played a game they should have won. In almost every stat that matters, except touchdowns, we were the better team. We got in the red zone more. We possessed the ball more. We had more first down conversions. We had less penalties. We ran more plays. And it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. But it's over now. Time to lick your wounds. We got time to rest. Get some guys back healthy. Get back Andrew Phillips, Adoree Jackson. I believe Gunner is able to come off of IR after this week. So we'll be able to see what we're going to do there. And also Deontay Johnson, which I think that'll help us out as well. But we have to make some things happen. Because if not, what's the point of having talent? What's the point of winning the game in all the stats that matter if you're not getting the one that matters the most, which is touchdowns? Shane Bowen, stop coaching scared. You got 3 dogs on this front. Dexter Lawrence is a load to handle for any interior line in the league. So is Brian Burns. So is Kayvon Thibodeau. Get these guys moving forward versus trying to always shed and always keep the play in front of you. You don't have to send a bunch of people, but you got to send somebody regularly to help them out. Giants fans, as always, thanks for being with us today. What I want to say going out is keep your heads up. There's a lot of season left. Go Big Blue.
You've been listening to a Big Blue